Hey, hey! It's Mr. Gerald Lord, the one and only. It's episode 29, and I have kind of made it a habit every now and again to have guests join me in on reminiscing about the show thus far, usually on knife installments, and getting the point of view of others on things. In keeping with that tradition, I'm joined today by two good friends of the show, Mr. Crooklyn Banks.
Hi, Mom.
And the Marquis.
Guten Tag.
Alright, so another point of view. By now you two are familiar with the format of the show and its various segments. And a popular segment, one of the original three, dating back to the first installment, that is usually featured is called Happening Now. Sort of. I've talked about so many different topics on this segment, including civil wars, like the ones in Ukraine, Syria, Yemen, South Sudan, and Burma or Myanmar. I've also talked about political movements like the ones in Venezuela, Macedonia, Egypt. I've talked about social issues like beauty in the modern times and women being on money, and moral issues like the pros and cons of using combat drones in war. Heck, Crooklyn has even done a segment to discuss U.S. presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton. So a lot has been discussed on this segment. My question is, what topic interested you the most that has been previously discussed, and what's been happening now that you would like to talk about? You go first, Marquis.
As far as topics you've discussed on the show before, one thing I found interesting was the legalization of same-sex marriage in Ireland. I'm not sure how many people know this, but about 40 years ago, Ireland had a religious and political war called the Troubles. It involved a group of people called the Irish Republican Army. Now, if that doesn't sound extremely conservative, like almost fascist to you, then you're probably living in a country where that's normal. So, all you people in Burma out there, sorry. So, what the heck, America? Ireland, a country filled mostly with Catholics who had a religious war 40 years ago, legalized same-sex marriage before you. That strikes me as a little bit off-putting, to say the least. Because 40 years ago in America, we were walking around with bell-bottoms and listening to music that I would just describe as fabulous. Extremely fabulous.
Yeah, that was kind of strange to me too, actually, now that you mention it. Good catch there. Any new topics?
Yes, recently I've read that scientists predict there will be a mini ice age similar to the one that happened between the 1790s up until the 1820s, which worked out so well for Napoleon, by the way. It's going to be happening in the 2030s, and it is part of the climate change issue. Climate change doesn't just mean that the Earth is getting hotter. It also means the Earth will be getting colder during these periods. And I think this would be an interesting topic to talk about in the future because it does affect our lives. While global warming obviously affects our lives, we can't go out without melting. It also will affect our lives because now, let's say you live in Finland. Now you can't go outside without having to shovel enough snow that by the time you're done, you become a bodybuilder. And in other places, such as Egypt or Florida, the weather will finally dip down to the coolest it's been in a long time. 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my gosh. Oh, good one. What about you, Crooklyn?
Well, of all the topics you had on your show, the one that appealed to me the most, and by appealed I mean pissed me off the most, is this whole movement of putting women on the $20 bill. Look, I get it. Andrew Jackson was this horrible person. He got rid of the National Bank and he killed a bunch of Indians. But quite frankly, if you're going to get rid of a president for killing Indians, you might want to also put Washington on the chopping block too. See, the thing about this whole movement is that no one's going to care about who's on the $20 bill in 10 years. Seriously, you really look at the $50 bill and wonder who that guy is? No, you don't. By the way, more on him later. Not only that, but the choices that you have, yeah, I get it. Harriet Tubman, okay, good choice. Woman and she's black, he killed Drew Burns with one stone. Eleanor Roosevelt, Yeah, obviously, when we talk about great women in American history, you got to put her on the list because it's a short list. Sorry, women, but America's history pretty much favors men. Rosa Parks, yeah, probably the most overrated woman in women's history. I mean, other than with the one thing she's famous for, can you really say anything about her? Exactly. And not only that, but Wilma Mankiller, who? Yeah, I looked up who she was, and all she apparently did was she ran some sort of Indian council. She was the first woman. She did it for about 10 years, and she did a lot of community work. Yeah, totally. We should totally put her on the money. Something that only 3% of the population knows. Great job, guys. But seriously, all this because Andrew Jackson was such a bad guy. Popular with the people, believed that the wealthy ran the banking system, and didn't believe in the Electoral College. Yeah, totally unrelatable. Especially with all the hipsters out there.
Okay, what about new topics?
Well, right now the thing that really pisses me off in the news is this whole Confederate flag situation. It just goes right back to the main reason why this country isn't really where it is. It's because of education. People still believe that the American Civil War was only fought for because of slavery. And the problem with that is that everyone believes that, just like the Revolutionary War, the side that won were these great valiant heroes that died for freedom, when in reality, most of them were just poor Irish immigrants who were drafted to fight. Not only that, but if you look at the two generals, Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman, both of those guys were far from abolitionists. In fact, you can probably say William Sherman was a bigger racist swine than most of the Confederacy hierarchy. But yeah, take down the flag because that will totally get rid of 200 years of racism. Remember when terrorism died the minute we got Bin Laden? Man, so long terrorism.
Alright, so moving on. Another segment that happens on the show a lot is called the Let's Talk Internet segment. I've discussed several negatives like spam, hacking, ads, cyberbullying, and of course, who could forget the Marquis segment on pointless religious comments. But off the top of your head, what is one praise and one criticism you'd like to point out about the internet? Or something internet related? Crooklyn, you first.
One positive thing we say about the internet, which is true, it's only one positive thing you can say about the internet, is that it's a pretty good place to find great ideas. But one of the things that's negative is that it's even better to find wrong ideas.
What about you, Marquis?
I find that the internet is a very abundant source of information. You can learn pretty much anything that you want, from languages, you can teach yourself how to play musical instruments, you can educate yourself on every single country in Africa, including countries like Togo and Benin. You can learn history, you can learn pretty much anything, really.
Yeah, that's true. I'm probably going to use it to find out where Togo is after the show is done. What about the negative?
For the negatives of the internet, I have only 3 words to say. Racist 12-year-olds.
Go on.
You don't just find them while playing Call of Duty on Xbox Live, or whatever it is you kids do these days with your Xboxes. You find them all over the internet. They lurk in dark corners. They lurk in your Reddits, in your 4chans. They lurk on your internet forums. And they are so racist. And if you were to take any of them at face value, your mom is very...
No, we get the message. We get the message. Okay. Next question. Honor some heroes. I don't do that segment often, but the title is self-explanatory. Any real-life hero or group of heroes of yours that you'd like to take a moment to honor or praise right now and tell us about? Crooklyn?
Well, my hero, because I'm such a sexist and a racist, goes to Malala Yousafzai, a Pakistani woman known for her fight against female oppression by the Taliban in northwest Pakistan. For those of you who don't know, this is a woman who on the afternoon of October 9th, 2002, was actually shot 3 times by Taliban gunmen who asked for her by name. She survived and is now currently living in England, where she became the youngest woman to ever win the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, not even old enough to legally drink in the United States, yet she already won a Peace Prize. Good job, miss.
Oh, that's a pretty good pick. I don't know how Marquis is going to top that, but who's your hero, man?
Well, my personal hero here, and honestly, everyone's hero if you're watching this video right now, is a woman by the name of Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace, as you may or may not know, pretty much invented computer programming. Without her, we wouldn't have Java, C++, or whatever powered the Enigma machine. In any case, Ada Lovelace was the daughter of Lord Byron. Her mother disapproved of Lord Byron, and as a result, she taught her things not related to the arts in order to keep her mind occupied. She learned math and science, and because of this, she was able to create logic for computer programming. And that, people, is why she is my personal hero right now that I am honoring.
Good pick, man. Okay, last related question. As far as segments go, nature hates us. I've been doing a lot more of these the past couple shows. I've talked about natural disasters, animal attacks, pathogen threats, like viruses or diseases. How do you feel about nature? Do you think we should work harder to conserve and protect it? Or do you think we go overboard with conservation efforts sometimes? Marquis?
I think we need to work a lot harder to conserve aspects of nature. Not just to slow things like deforestation, but also to slow animal extinction rates, which have been going up a lot recently. However, given that, not all animal extinctions are created equally. Exhibit A, mosquitoes. There is scientific evidence backing up the idea that if you were to eradicate every single mosquito on the planet right now, nothing in the environment would be affected. Animal diets, not affected. Animal deaths, not affected. Maybe a little bit less, but that's a good thing. The spread of disease, gone, for the most part. Mosquitoes are completely useless in our environment. Not just useless, but you can almost think of them as a parasite to our overall environmental health. I personally would start a campaign right now. No mosquitoes. No more mosquitoes. Just eradicate them all.
Amen to that. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Then, however will you make your dinosaur theme park?
An even better solution than that is to not.
Yeah, that's probably good. But back to the question. So what are your thoughts on nature and conservation efforts?
I think that no one has a real actual solution to it other than just throw money at it and hope everything works. Personally, I think the people who are trying to conserve nature need a much better PR publicist, because typically when you think of nature conservationists, you typically don't think of people you want to have a conversation with. So when it comes to my opinion on nature, it's humans, do whatever the hell you want. Odds are we're probably going to deal with a problem or come up with a solution, just like we did with trees.
Well, this has been an enlightening experience, guys. It's always a pleasure having you join me. But let's wrap this up. Any closing words you'd like to add?
12-year-olds, stop ruining the internet. Ada Lovelace, I love you. And finally, fuck you, mosquitoes.
Okay. Crooklyn?
Women, stop caring who's on our money because no one else cares. Internet, stop caring about Kim Kardashian. And nature, whatever.
'Cause this is my United States of whatever. And this is my United States of whatever. And this is my United States of whatever. 'Cause this is my United States of whatever. And this is my United States.
By the way, it is pronounced Malala Yousafzai.
Yeah, and the Irish Republican Army got their name from the original Irish Army who fought against the British. Has nothing to do with religion.